Hello everyone, so this is my second video of the digital system series, and in today's video I'm gonna introduce to you guys a new concept, which is the language of computer. Okay, so you may wonder, like, let's say I have a computer, some PC that you are using, right? You may ask, like, how can computer read? Like, for us human, right? When we read, we read like alphabet, like A, B, C, D kind of thing, like alphabet, and then or even number like 0, 1, 2, 3, and many more. But for like specifically the computer, what type of language that is reading, how it's like comprehend. So the language of the computer is called the binary. Alright, so now you're gonna ask, what is binary exactly? Why does it matter? So binary is a number that can only be represented by two things, which is 0 and 1. 0 or 1. So let's say I have binary numbers, which is let's say 0, right? There's a 1 number, 1, and after this I can have like 1, 0. You see, those two is still represented by either 0 or 1. As long as I have like 0 or 1, it's called binary number. So 1, 0 is binary, and after this, from 0 I can increase to 1, and I keep 1 right here. 1, 1 is still binary because it belongs to 0 or 1. So from this we can have 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, or 1, 1, 0. Those thing right here is binary, and computer can only read those things right here, just 0 and 1. That's the language of computer. Okay, so now let's talk about a unit of computer, which is bit. Bit. What is bit, right? You guys might ask that. So, I mean, whenever you guys, going to Shopee or a market or some technology place, to buy a computer, you always see like, computer. Sometimes it say like, this is the computer that has like 32-bit or maybe 64-bit, right? It's something like this. So I have like a number like 32-bit and 64-bit. So you may ask like, what does the bit means here, right? So okay, let's have a simple example. Like, this is kind of big, right? Kind of big number, 32, 64. Let's have something small. Let's say let's say I have a computer that have like 2-bit data. Okay, so what does it mean? So first, 2-bit, that means like it has to be some number that can be generated by 2 spot, 1, 2. And because our computer, what language it can read, it can only understand like 0 or 1, right? So that's why those 2 slots right here has to be filled by either 0 or 1. So how many possible 2-bit data that you can generate from 0 or 1? So you can have 0, 0, right? 0, 1, 1, 0, and 1, 1. It's very simple, right? And you can see it's 2-bit. Those 4 answers right here, they are 2-bit because they are generated by 2 slots. You see 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. They all 2 slots, and they all make up by 0 and 1. So this is a example of 2-bit data. Okay. So similarly, you guys can have like 3-bit data, and which means the data has to be, make up by 3 slots, 1, 2, 3, and those 3 slots has to be filled by either 0 or 1. So how many possible 3-bit data you can generate? You can have 0 0, right? 1 2 3, 3 slot, 0 0 1, 0 1 0, 0 1 1, 1 0 0, 1 0 1, 1 1 0, and lastly 1 1 1, right? So there are total of like 8 possible. You can see 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, 8 of them, right? And moreover, you can see like with 2-bit of data, you can have 4 possible outcome. With 3-bit data, you can have 8 possible outcome, right? So you can say, oh, 4 of this is actually equal to 2 power 2, right? Which is whereas the 2 is the number of bit, and for A is actually equal to 2 power 3, and 3 is actually the number of bit. Therefore, we can say that for n-bit data, we can have 2 power n possible outcomes or data or answers, whatever you guys want to say, right? So now let's back to the computer. Okay, let's back to our computer example. Let's say I mean I won't use a 32-bit because you know what happens if you use 32-bit. It's gonna be 2 power 32, and this is a huge number, right? So I will just use another example that have a smaller number of bit in order to demonstrate for you guys. So let's say I buy a computer that just have like 2-bit of data. Okay, so this number right here mean that in the computer, the memory of the computer, this is the memory. So this memory right here can only hold like at most 4 data only, right? So this computer right here can only hold like 4 data total. This is the maximum it can go, right? So let's say in here you can have some data, 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 but you don't have like the 5th one because there's only 2-bit. So if you send another data to here, it won't like accept because in here we already use all of the 4 slot, right? So in order to for this memory to store this 5th data, what you're gonna do? You're gonna increase the bit, right? So let's say from 2-bit, let's increase it into 3-bit. So what does it mean? Now our memory gonna be extend, right? It's gonna extend into 8, right? Because 3-bit mean like 8 possible outcome. So let's have another slot. 1 2 3 4. Now our memory have more slot, which is 8 of them, right? Therefore this new data right here can be accepted. So I'm gonna erase it, and it can be accepted. Bingo. You see, so now we can put it right here. So that is the basically the bit means. Alright, so this is like extra information for you guys. Like beside the bit, we also have another unit with the symbol unit, which is called byte. Okay, so what is byte? Okay, byte is very simple. So 1 byte equal to 8 bits. Okay, so whenever I say 1 byte, you think it's gonna be a data that's gonna have like 8 slot. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. This 8 slot, and those 8 slot has to be made up by either 0 or 1. So if you have a data that have like 8 slot or 8 bits, you can say that, oh, it's actually 1 byte. Okay, that's very simple. And yeah, this concept, very simple. It's not that hard. But later on, we're gonna have a lot of complicated stuff with calculating bit and byte in more advanced form. So yeah, we're gonna talk more about that in the future. All right, I think this is gonna be something very fun, because I really enjoy learning this back in the day when I was in like university kind of thing. So what is this? What is this like ugly thing? I have so many things in so many boxes. So this is like a basic computer. Shoot, sorry for my bad handwriting. Computer architecture. Okay, this is the basic computer architecture. So we own a computer, right? Like it's a thing that help you computing thing, go to Google, everything. But you may wonder like, what make of a computer? What make of a computer? Right? What make of this? So this is the basic thing that you can think of. So a computer gonna have some input, some output, and it's gonna have a block that's gonna do the logic and arithmetic calculation, which is called the arithmetic and logic unit. It also have a control unit. It also have a memory unit. And memory unit is what we talk about, like how computer they store stuff. So this block right here help the computer like store things. But however, those two are very important thing. Those two right here, they are very important. And those two, the arithmetic logic unit and the control unit, they combine to become a CPU, which is the term that you guys heard a lot, right? CPU when you're buying a laptop or you're watching like some movie about technology, right? On TV or Marvel Studio movie, yeah, those things. So CPU is, just remember, CPU consists of this one, ALU. You can say this is ALU, arithmetic logic unit, or CU, the control unit. Those two combined become a CPU. I'm gonna give you guys a very cool example in order to see this thing. See, this is a computer architecture in the coolest way. Okay, so please stay with me. Okay, so this is the previous like computer architecture that I just talked about, but I just make it like smaller like this. And as a reminder, those two right here is called a CPU, right? CPU. So let's say this is our computer box, right? Okay, for the input, which means something that you plug into the computer, right? So what can the input be? It can be like a mouse, right? A computer, you need to have a mouse. This is a mouse, right? What else you can put in the input? A keyboard, right? You have a keyboard, a bunch of like buttons, like arrows. You have a long one, the spades, right? You can have a keyboard, right? It's a keyboard. This is mouse. This is keyboard. Yeah, right? Very simple. What else can you put here? Audios, anything you want, headphones, right? This is input. So what about the output? Well, what do you put for the output for the computer? It can be your monitor, right? The screen, the computer screen. So this is the screen, right? You have the screen for sure, right? So this is the general thing that you can think of. Okay, so now let's talk more about those three units right here. 1, 2, 3. The input unit and the output unit is very simple. It's just input, only care of like mouse and keyboard, something that you plug into the computer. And for the output is something that you want to get the out data, like the monitor to show image and stuff. Okay, so now let's talk more detail about the monitors. Okay, let me clean the happy face of this computer. I'm sorry. Okay, so let's say in this computer I want to play a game called League of Legends. Let's call the game League of Legend. Okay, I want to play this game really bad, right? So how can I play this? I have to move the mouse, right? I move the mouse, and then you have a cursor. This is a cursor, and then you click it, right? When you click it, click. Okay, but before I clicked it, we have to know that the game League of Legends, let's have a logo. Let's call League of Legends LOL. So a League of Legends game is actually written in a language called C++, and maybe other language too. I don't know, like what Riot using, but most of the time, games and stuff, they're mostly written by C++. Very cool programming language. So if you guys are interested in software engineering or computer engineering or even electrical engineering, then you guys have to know at least C++ is very important in technology. So this is a programming language. Yeah, so League of Legends is written in C++. However, C++ after a C++ gonna be translate into something called assembly language. I just put A, so this is assembly. Okay, so assembly is a machine language. Like, yeah, just for now, you guys just know that like from C++, it has to be translated to assembly, and from assembly is gonna be, I mean, as I told you guys, right? A computer. Well, what language is understand? 0 and 1, either 0 or 1, right? So that means we have to translate assembly to binary, which is B, binary, which is 0 or 1. And once it translate into binary, we can finally send this binary to the computer. You guys see the step, right? It's very cool, right? Like from a League of Legends game, you have C++, you have to translate to assembly, and from assembly you translate to binary, which is 0 and 1, and which is the real language of the computer to make it understand. Okay, so for this binary right here, where it's gonna go after it translates to binary? So this binary gonna be stored into the memory, right? Because as I say, the memory store like a lot of like binary stuff. So this memory unit right here gonna store this binary data. Okay, so let me redraw that. Look kind of bad. Okay, let me draw it down there. Okay, so the memory right here, I'm gonna store a binary 1 2. This is a League of Legends binary, remember, League LOL binary. Okay, so when the memory unit like store the binary of this, then what happened? This binary stored in the memory. So the control unit, you see, one is see the binary in the memory, it's gonna like, fetching the data. It's gonna fetching this like the 0 and 1 from the memory, gonna be sent to the control unit, and the control unit will send it to the arithmetic unit, and those two things right here, the CPU gonna do some math, under some operation, blah blah blah. It's gonna do a lot of complicated stuff right here, very nasty, and which we will talk about that in the future too. So yeah, just remember like those two things, the CPU gonna do a lot of stuff to calculate bunch of kind of thing, and finally after it's calculate, or you can say this is the process that when you play the game, you see loading. It's loading, right? Yeah, this is the loading part, literally, like from memory, from the binary code to memory, and then memory is gonna fetching data into this, and then this thing gonna do the loading part. Is loading the game, is do a bunch of calculation, and after loading, the CPU right this gonna send data to the output, right? Do a lot of calculation right here, and then send to the output, And after they send it to the output, what happened? The output gonna send something to the monitor, which is gonna display the game. Yay! It's gonna show the game. Finally, it's gonna show the game, right? So you can see, so I hope like yeah, this example give you guys like kind of like I mean not detailed, kind of abstract way to see how a computer work, right? So in general, this is the computer architectures that I just showed you guys. This is a very popular computer architectures that use most of by the laptop and the PC, and especially I think this is gonna be new to you guys. The microcontrollers also use this type like computer architecture as well. So controllers like in Vietnamese is gonna be the Viterbi, and I think you guys will see this more in the future when you take more advanced course beside digital system. And one of the popular, microcontroller for like university student, they use for like learning for educational purpose, which is Arduino, Raspberry Pi, and maybe the Pico Blazer. The Pico Blazer is more like hard to use than Arduino, as well as like Raspberry Pi. But like when you go to but sometimes like when you go to different company like Intel or AMD or Nvidia kind of thing, they will have their own different like microcontroller. So it's gonna be another story. But yeah, those three are like very simple and for like educational purpose in university. So you guys mostly gonna see this. And in the future, you guys may ask like, what is like inside those block right here? Like what's inside those? Like what make up those thing? And that's gonna be the topic of the future. So I hope that you guys like this video, and please support me, give me feedback, and in the future we're gonna have a lot of fun stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna see you, and bye bye.